Welcome, everyone. Dr. Mike DeBord, president of B3 Sciences. I want to welcome you to tonight's exciting presentation with BFR. What is BFR? If you're new, it's blood flow restriction training. Let me show you how easy this is. We just slide these bands up our arms and legs. I'm going to show you the arm bands. You can see how easy it is to get them on and quick. Then we take the little handheld pump. And for those of you who are looking at, hey, what's with Dr. Mike's white dial? These are the new B3 pumps. We've improved the pumps, but we simply hook it up here, add a little air to it. And don't worry, when you get them, we're going to show you how to use them. But you can see how easy that is. And I'm ready to go. Now, what did I just do? I simply slowed down the flow of exiting blood flow. I didn't cut it off. Now, why is this so important? Well, when you slow down exiting blood flow, and look at my hand, it's still moving, it's just moving slower. It reduces how much oxygen the muscle has. It puts you in a mechanical advantage or a hack or a cheat so that you can now do light exercise, but create fatigue in your muscles. That wonderful pump and burn feeling that you typically need to do high intensity exercise, you no longer have to do high intensity exercise. You just do light exercise. Now, this fatigue that we call the burn, this creates a cascade of physiological, chemical, and hormonal reactions in the body that have tremendous benefits, not only on burning fat, losing weight, building muscle, performing better, sleeping better, but on most of the systems basically all the systems in your body, your brain, your heart. But one we're going to focus on tonight is when you create this burn or exercise, it has an impact on elevating nitric oxide. I'm not going to go into a lot of chemistry or science, but a lot of you have been hearing about nitric oxide and blood flow. Well, when you do BFR, blood flow restriction, it's easy to elevate nitric oxide at a whole different level than you will see by any other type of therapy. And I'm going to show you some studies. Now, if we increase nitric oxide, you're going to improve blood flow. I want you to imagine instead of your blood flowing through narrow, hardening vessels, that all of a sudden the blood vessels open up and the blood can flow better. I also want you to imagine instead of pushing heavy blood, you're pushing thinner blood like water. Why is this important? Because if you open up the blood vessels with nitric oxide and thin the blood, all of a sudden you start getting better blood flow, improved circulation. And this is proven. I'm going to show you scientific studies. Now, if you improve blood flow to your brain, you have better cognition, better focus, and you actually protect your brain from neurodegenerative conditions. If you improve blood flow to a shoulder that has pain, whether it's arthritis or bursitis or tendonitis, you can improve pain. If you improve blood flow to your hands that may have pain, or your feet, or your low back, or your knee, that can improve pain. We're going to pull up a presentation here in a second. But over the last 5 years and with more than 50,000 people and many scientific studies, there is now a new and better way to approach pain. Can BFR help with pain? Blood flow restriction is an emerging technology that's being used by physical therapy centers, athletic trainers, NFL teams, and by everyday people. And it impacts one of the most important aspects of our health, the decline or the age-related reduction of nitric oxide and growth hormone. In tonight's presentation, we're going to focus on nitric oxide. We'll talk about growth hormone in a later presentation. Look at the chart there. When you are in your teenage years and your early mid-20s, you have great blood flow. Why? Because nitric oxide, which controls blood flow and controls how thin your blood is, maintains healthy blood flow. But as you age, your natural nitric oxide levels decrease. I'm 60 years old. At the age of 60, I have dramatically reduced blood flow due to low nitric oxide. But if I can elevate nitric oxide through exercise, I can maintain healthy blood flow. Like I'm 25, 30 years younger. Nitric oxide's been proven throughout science and scientific studies that when it's elevated, it improves blood flow to joints, ligaments, tendons, brain, heart, lung, and organs. Look at what research tells us about pain. One of the most common things of pain is lack of blood flow. It's called ischemia. So we're looking at a picture of an arthritic hip joint. When you lose blood flow due to age-related reduction of nitric oxide and other factors like cardiovascular disease, you lose good blood flow into your joints, into your tendons, into your back, into your shoulder, into your knees. And this has a major impact on increasing pain. What if we could increase blood flow to these painful tissues? We could see an improvement of pain. Next, arthritis. A major contributor to the breakdown of our joints, the articular cartilage, which is the lining of the joints, is reduced oxygen saturation. The joint is not getting good oxygen flow. That is directly affected by poor circulation. So as you age and have trauma and or surgery, you have reduced oxygen and blood flow into the joints. What if we could increase blood flow and oxygen to painful tissues in your joints? We could significantly impact joint health and pain. Tendons. Many people deal with tendinitis. Quadriceps, patellar, Achilles tendinitis, most common in the elbow or the wrist or the shoulder. Tendons lose blood flow as we age, and they lose their flexibility. And then once we get tendinitis, it takes long periods of time, or sometimes it never heals. Why? Because tendons don't have good blood flow. What if we could increase blood flow and oxygen to painful tendons? Here's one most people are not aware of. Many people dealing with neuropathy, whether it be due to disc injury or diabetic neuropathy or poor circulation, one of the main causes of neuropathy, look at those blood vessels surrounding the nerves. When the blood vessels lose peripheral blood flow, the blood is not flowing good to the nerves. Look what happens. The nerve starts to decay and deteriorate. This is one of the most common impacts of nerve pain. If blood flow is not restored, permanent nerve damage can occur. What do we typically do? Instead of addressing the loss of blood flow and oxygen, many people go for the quick fix of things like non-steroidal anti-inflammatories. And although these have a temporary reduction of pain because they block pain and temporarily reduce inflammation, studies show that they actually make the problem worse. They do nothing to improve blood flow and oxygen to the joint, allowing the joints and the painful tissues to actually become more deteriorated and actually increase inflammation. And many people, this is me, because of the injuries I had to the joints and the deterioration and my lack of being able to restore blood flow because I didn't know about BFR, I replaced 3 joints. I have 2 knees replaced, 2 hips and a knee. So this is also common. Enter BFR. At the age of 52, 8 years ago, I was introduced to a new technology. Now, I was of the belief that this new technology, blood flow restriction, could help me to put muscle back on my body. And boy, did it do that. It could reduce recovery and load. So I went from working out for an hour down to about 10 to 15 minutes with light weights. And my muscle quickly came back. But I noticed something incredible. On the very first workout I did with my BFR bands, I noticed my knee pain and my back pain and my shoulder pain dramatically decreased, and it was immediate. Within a couple minutes of doing the exercise, I noticed this dramatic reduction in pain. Now, what was I doing? I was doing exercises that anybody can do. I was doing light bicep curls with 2 or 3 pound dumbbells. And then I did body weight exercises like static squats. I would go down into a squat position, but I would only go down a little bit, meaning I wasn't even doing a full squat and I wasn't even using weights. Because of the BFR, the reduction of blood flow, I was able to create fatigue in my arm muscles and my leg muscles. I was able to create that fatigue like I was working out hard for an hour. And this fatigue stimulated the release of nitric oxide. And all of a sudden, my painful low back, my painful knee, my painful shoulder that has damage and lack of good blood flow, all of a sudden has improved blood flow and oxygen. And my pain was dramatically reduced. I could not believe it. I was just hoping to be able to put muscle back on my body. And what I got was I went back in time. Now at 60 years old, I don't feel 60 thanks to the muscle I've been able to put on easily and lose weight. I don't look 60. I hope anybody doesn't think I look 60. And let me tell you something, I don't function 60, but here's the big one. My pain levels, which used to be anywhere from an 8 to a 10, and that included sciatica, have been reduced. And many of you have seen me over the years as you've seen me suffer from levels of pain. My pain now is down to about a 1, a maximum of 2. I have the nitric oxide and blood flow of a 25-year-old flowing into all of my joints, tissues, my brain, my heart, my ligaments, my toes, my hands. I've got good blood flow. And here's a study done on people doing BFR and people doing normal exercise. Look at the bars on the right, the elevation of nitric oxide. Increases of 50, 100, and 150% when doing BFR exercise. Now, this isn't a study of people not exercising. It's people exercising and then putting the BFR bands on and exercising. Because of the BFR, they were able to elevate their nitric oxide significantly over traditional exercise. And when you elevate nitric oxide, look what studies show. This is a study done out of the United Kingdom at St. Mary's University on low back pain. These results demonstrate that BFR exercise is superior at decreasing low back pain and distal pain. That means pain down into the legs like sciatica or knee pain or foot pain as compared to regular exercise. This is 2 different studies on knee pain. And this is exactly what I experienced. A single bout of low intensity knee extension exercise with BFR was found to immediately reduce knee pain. This is what I experienced the very first time. Here's another study out of PubMed. A single BFR exercise immediately reduced anterior knee pain, AKP, which was sustained for at least 45 minutes. So what I noticed was I'd have this immediate reduction in pain, and then the pain would start to come back. But every time I would do a BFR session, the pain relief would last longer. Look at this study out of Science Direct. You have a pain relieving system in your body of opioids and cannabinoids. And these are natural pain relievers. They're the strongest pain relievers in your body. BFR exercise increases metabolites such as lactate. When you get the burn and you release lactic acid, you produce lactate. This lactate or metabolates stimulates the production of these natural pain relievers. So we've had people who have had pain in their neck, pain in their head, pains in all different parts of their body significantly reduced. And this is one of the reasons why. When you create fatigue in any muscle, doesn't matter if you work your quadriceps or your back or your arm or your calves, or you go for a walk or you get on the elliptical or you lift weights, if you can produce the burn, which is easy with BFR, it'll turn on this opioid and cannabinoid system. Look at this study on neuropathy. Neuropathy is one of the most painful, debilitating things people deal with. Chronic nerve pain, loss of feeling in their feet and legs, loss of blood flow. People actually start getting discoloration and sometimes even have to have amputations because loss of blood flow and neuropathy. Based on studies included in this peer review, blood flow restriction is beneficial in neurological disorders without adverse effects. And we've seen many people, especially a lot of chiropractic patients, see significant improvements in neuropathy. Let's get to a couple testimonials. This is Dusty. Dusty had multiple sclerosis, still does. When I met her, she could not exercise. All she could do, the most she could do would be go to the store and walk behind her shopping cart. Why? Because any exercise would flare up her pain. It would cause her to have to actually go lay down. Now, Dusty had been exercising her whole life, so you can imagine the depression as well as anxiety she had. Within 2 weeks of doing 5 minutes of light exercise, and here's the key, it only required Dusty to do something light and easy with the BFR, creating the burn or lactic acid, not increasing her pain, but actually turning on nitric oxide. And she had a dramatic reduction in pain. Now she can actually exercise, improving her strength, stamina, and endurance. And it has had tremendous effects on her depression. She'll tell you, I never thought this was possible. This is Jennifer, Janine Grohl's sister. She had been doing endurance training her whole life, and she developed fibromyalgia. And her exact words were, my pain after going to work would be so bad in my arms and legs, I just want to stab myself in the arms and legs with knives. She wouldn't even think about returning to endurance training. Within several weeks of using the bands and doing light exercise, elevating nitric oxide and improving blood flow, her pain started to diminish. Now she's out of pain and she's actually competing in triathlons again. She never thought it was possible. This is Tim, a senior pickleball player. He had knee pain and swelling for 20 years. 20 years. Within 2 weeks of adding BFR to his exercise, his pain was gone. Now, how's this possible? By using the BFR bands, Tim was able to access his body's nitric oxide, which requires the production of lactic acid. You have to be able to exercise hard enough to produce lactic acid or the burn. Most people can't do that. Now we can with BFR. And it doesn't get any higher on the respect level than it does with Rick Burkholder, the head athletic trainer, head of all health and medicine at the Kansas City Chiefs, the reigning back-to-back Super Bowl champions. Rick's a BFR guy. He does BFR on almost all of his athletes that are dealing with any kind of injury or pain. And he will tell you, if you go listen to his 5-minute video that he did for B3, I do BFR so I can access nitric oxide for my athletes, which dramatically increases healing and reduces pain. Now, once you start improving blood flow to these joints, there's one more important thing you can do. You can address what most people have, which is a deficiency in the collagen matrix. This is the connective tissue that makes up your ligaments, tendons, cartilage, your skin, hair, your nails, and all of your blood vessels, as well as your organs. And when you have collagen deficiency, which a high percentage of people do, look at the very first thing that you'll notice: arthritis and joint pain, decreased bone density, and many other conditions. We have developed a product to address this, to address the nutritional need that we need to replenish and restore the collagen matrix in all these important tissues. And when you elevate nitric oxide as well as growth hormone, your body is going to start to repair and regenerate this collagen matrix. But you need specific 4 key nutrients, not just bulk collagen. You need collagen peptides, and this collagen matrix, which makes up all these tissues, it also needs essential fats, vitamins, and minerals. Now, these collagen peptides that are in this product that we've developed, B3 Start, are patented and proven. That means there are human studies, and I want to focus for 1 minute on the Fortigel, because Fortigel is a specific peptide that is extracted from bulk collagen. You can go to the health food store and Walmart and Amazon and buy bulk collagen every day. Here's the problem. Only 3 to 5% of that bulk collagen has this specific peptide. So unless you're taking 20, 30, 40, 50 grams of bulk collagen, you're not getting enough of this specific peptide. Our product B3 Start has the exact amount of this Fortigel that is in this study. Now, this study done on this peptide was done without the benefit of increased nitric oxide and growth hormone. And they actually scanned cartilage in the body, and it showed that it increased the density of the cartilage. This means you can actually increase the thickness and hydration of your cartilage by taking this specific collagen peptide. Now imagine adding increased blood flow and oxygen and growth hormone with the bands, and you've got a 2-pronged approach to dramatically impacting your joints, hair, nails, skin, and reducing pain. How do you take it? You just mix it up in a delicious morning smoothie like many of us do every morning. And if you want extra protection, you have a severe amount of pain or degeneration, you're going to want to take it at night also, doubling up on these specific collagen peptides. B3 Start comes in a caffeine version and a caffeine-free version. So I take the Start in the morning and the caffeine-free one at night. With that said, we have now discovered and we have scientifically proven with BFR, and now add to that thousands and thousands of testimonials and actual results. Many of these results being seen by doctors and chiropractors all across the country to have a new way to directly impact pain. I'll bring up this email again at the end. Now what I want to do is we are going to go, and we've got a couple exciting testimonials tonight. The first one I want you to hear from is Troy, and I'm going to ask Troy to unmute here. And Troy, if you can unmute and even turn on your camera, that'd be great. If you can't do your camera, that's all good also.
My battery is, hold on.
That's okay, Troy. We'll do it without the, oh, there we are. Great. Let me bring you up, Troy. So Troy, tell us just real quick, what was it like before the bands? What was your pain like? And then tell us what you've experienced in this short amount of time with doing BFR. And thanks to Janella May for introducing it to you.
Well, what I've gone through is pretty extraordinary. I had a catastrophic accident, and my lower leg, my tibia, was broken into pieces. It was shattered. My ankle was broken. I had severe soft tissue damage. My fibula was broken. They put a 13, 14-inch plate in my leg, 13 screws. And it turned out that my lower spine was damaged as well. And I ended up having all kinds of issues, but it's over. I was bedridden for years. I mean, I couldn't walk. I'd be in bed 23 hours a day for years. So all this stuff you're talking about, Dr. Mike, ischemia, arthritis, muscle loss, central nervous system damage. My eyesight was messed up because my spinal cord was damaged. You can't imagine all the things that have gone on. So fast forward 16 and a half years, and I've gone from being bedridden to a wheelchair to crutches to a walker to a cane to a walking stick to I'm walking without support. Okay. So I'm walking without support, but I've got severe pain. I've got severe sciatica. I've got severe neuropathy in my feet, especially the one that was damaged. The blood flow was so low that that my foot would be like 8 degrees. My right foot, the damaged foot, would be like 8 degrees different in temperature than my left foot. So it's very significant damage. All I could do is walk, really couldn't sit much. Because of that, really can't travel, really can't work. You can't, and it's very, like you said about the other lady, it's very depressing, especially when I was an athlete, a pretty big time athlete my whole life. So I get I'm having trouble. I'm trying to just walk and I'm just putting in the miles. And it turns out I'm talking to Janelle on the phone a number of times when I'm walking. And she's saying, you need to give this a try. Don't underestimate this. You don't have to do anything but walk with them. If you put them on when you walk, that'll help you. So that's how I started out, like maybe 2.5 months ago, is I would just have the bands on and I would walk. And I was like, I think this is helping me a little bit. And after about 2 weeks, I started doing stairs, flights of stairs. And I did that for a couple weeks and I built up to, I think, like 20 flights of stairs that I would do with the bands on, which took me like a little less than 10 minutes to do that. And that's all I would do. And then something crazy started happening, is the muscles in my legs everywhere, even the leg that was so atrophied, which was the right leg, because I couldn't really walk. I still couldn't walk properly or fast at all, because my ankle and my foot I had issues with. My leg muscles started to respond. The flexibility of my ankle and my foot started to improve. The blood flow and the color of my right foot and ankle started to improve. The strength and the balancing ability in my ankle and my foot started to improve. So I saw this happening. So then I started doing the upper body a little bit, because I have cages, metal, everything in my back, and I can't do a whole lot. So I was just like, I'm going to do some push-ups, incline push-ups on the stairs with the bands. Okay. It's about as easy as you can get. I do stairs. I do push-ups on the stairs. That's it. That's all I did. I've gained somewhere between 8 to 12 pounds of muscle in 2.5 months. And people, since I started doing the bands, people have made comments about, how old are you? Like, people will ask me how old I am and they'll be blown away. They think I'm much younger. The reason I'm saying that's a big deal is I looked half dead because of all the stuff that I went through. So even my appearance started to improve. So, that's obviously, when your overall health is improving, that's great. But here's the biggest thing of all, is when I do this, I did not do the bands today, and I have a lot of pain. I forget how much the bands help me. When I do the bands, my pain for that day is usually, I would say at this point, cut in half. I would say for about a 4-hour window, the pain is cut down about 80%. So now I'm starting to think about, what I might be able to do as I continue to get better. So the pain's gone down, my blood flow's obviously gone up, I've gained muscle. Nobody knows anything happened to me. It's shocking. Let's put it that way. To go from where I was to have that accident, be in bed all those years, I had 10 major surgeries when I was going through this stuff. So I had all those surgeries, all that damage you're talking about, Dr. Mike, all the did nerve damage. I got all kinds of scar tissue, got all kinds of instrumentation.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just been, the last thing I'll say is it just blows my mind how much these bands are helping me.
And
blows my mind.
And tell us, Troy, why is all this happening? What's going on in your body? What are the bands doing in your opinion?
Well, they're definitely the nitric oxide and the increased blood flow and the lactic acid that you're talking about, because you have to be, for me, I grew up on a farm. I'm used to doing physical things. I'm used to extremes and temperature and effort. When I do this stuff, when I put the bands on, it takes a lot of effort. My legs are burning, my arms are burning, but it's only like, 12 minutes, 14 minutes total, that I'm doing and the burn's probably 10 minutes of that time, something like that. But it's releasing this growth hormone too. And everybody that I talk to in the sciences that really understands growth hormone is like, it's the elixir of life. It's the fountain of youth. If you want to stay young and healthy and have great longevity and have a good quality life, growth hormone is like imperative. So that's what I've learned it's doing, and it's just been amazing. It's been amazing so far. I hope that in 3 months from now or another 2.5 months, I'm saying, man, it can't even get, it's just getting better.
Yeah. And Troy, for someone in your condition, and many people have these physical challenges, there's no way you're going back in the gym or lifting weights to get that muscle back without the bands.
No, there's no way. There's no chance. I'll never do that. I'll never even put my body in that position. Like when I used to do heavy deadlifting and heavy squat, just can't do it. I want to tell you guys one thing too, Dr. Mike, just short of 17 years. The other day I went into a building and there were 3 short flights of stairs. And before I realized what had happened, I had walked up those 3 flights of stairs without holding on to anything, with no support at all. Yeah. That's the first time I could go upstairs without holding on to a rail or putting my hand on a wall or something like that. Right up the stairs. And then I realized it. And when I was coming out, I was like, I went right down the stairs as well. My ankle didn't have the flexibility to do that before. And in the last 2.5 months, I've picked that ankle flexibility up because of, blood flow, nitric oxide. Oh, by the way, my feet are within a degree or 2 of the same temperature now. So there's another marker of, it's not just me saying the blood flows better. It's actually immeasurable.
Yeah. You're back, aren't you, Troy?
I'm getting there.
Congratulations. That's awesome. Thanks to Janella. Thank you so much for introducing, Troy and motivating him. Let's go to Angie Covington. Angie's got an awesome story. Let me find her on the, see where she's at here, if she's still on.
I'm here.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
There you are, Angie. Okay. Let me spotlight you here. And Angie, you don't need to bring your screen up. It's up to you, but we'll put you up here just 1 second. Okay.
Yeah,
Angie, great to have you on
my
the
hair
call.
is looking like Kramer right now for anyone who likes Seinfeld, so we're not turning on the camera.
Okay. Okay. Hey, Angie, share with everybody your awesome story.
Well, it's really funny because as a female, it's kind of weird, but I have a lifetime of trauma. I had probably about a 30-year period where I attracted objects. And I mean, I've had 3 concussions within a year. And they weren't healing. I've been in over 30 car accidents, and before you get all judgy, I mean, I've been mostly passengers in those accidents, and I've been rear-ended twice sitting at a stoplight, just sitting there. I've been T-boned when I had the right of way. Like I'm one that YouTube would have made a great video. Like, somebody's throwing a Hail Mary basketball shot
Mhm.
and I'm walking out of the gym, and of course it hits me right in the head. Um, so anyway, just a lot of trauma. So my life has really been, and I was an athlete in my younger years too. So I've been just in pain. Now, most of my car accidents and everything, it's the opposite of, oh, I'm sorry, I forgot his name already. The gentleman that just spoke.
Troy.
Yeah, he had a lot of hardware. Mine was honestly 99% soft tissue damage. I mean, I think I had a chip fracture in my foot in one accident, and a fractured sternum in another, and then some teeth that required root canals. So everything was soft tissue for me, but it was just pain throughout my whole life. And I have to be honest, there's part of me that like was able to disassociate from my body to where I could go out and function. But if I ever did stop and focus on my body, oh, it was just like almost constant pain. And again, because I try to ignore it. But anyway, I just have to tell, like, if I can just jump to a really great example of how far I've come, I can tell you, I remember being in high school and having a job at the mall, and standing for a 4-hour shift was like torture for me. And I can tell you, I did a beauty expo 2 weeks ago, and I'm 59 years old, and I stood for 8 hours. And I'm not kidding you. When I was like, oh, it's already time, like it's already over.
Mhm.
And I did not have any pain, any discomfort, not the next day. I mean, everything, my feet felt great, everything felt fantastic. And the only thing that I can really attribute that to is really BFR. Um, I really feel like I'm 29, only better. Like that's what I
Mhm.
was saying before. It's like, you want to know how old I feel? Well, I feel even better in many cases than I felt when I was like 15 or 16. The first car accident I was in, I was like 8. So, I mean, they just kept coming incessantly at me.
Mhm.
So I just kind of accepted that I would be in pain most of my life. Now, I'm not going to be, I can't tell you that I don't ever get up and feel achy some mornings, you know what I mean, or whatever,
Mhm.
and have to do some things with my neck, but like that's nothing compared to like, I mean, I remember when I was like in my 30s, I would go out to a client's office and we're done having the sales call. I'd stand up to leave, and I'm in my 30s. I can't stand up straight right away. I can only stand up uh maybe 90% of the way, and I have to stand there and kind of talk to him for a minute so that I could finally get the rest of my body to stand up straight. And I'm 60 now. I'm on the floor, I'm up, I'm down, I'm installing stuff, I'm running around. I'm talking to everybody about BFR. I'm going to the parks, being a nuisance. I don't drink coffee. I'm a lot of energy, if you can tell. So the nitric oxide has not just helped me with pain; it is my rocket fuel. So
Awesome. Awesome, Angie. And I know I remember meeting you before you did the BFR, right? At Gaylord's Las Vegas. He's the Las Vegas golf coach. We're going to hear from him. And then watching your transformation in it, and it's been truly amazing. And Angie, you didn't even talk about your physique and how much, younger you look, and muscle and all those other wonderful things, right? We've just kind of talked about pain. So it's kind of been you've kind of come full circle. You're back also, back to
it's
your awesome.
honestly, it's both. And what's crazy is that when I was younger, of course, like everybody else, I was more motivated with the physicality. Now I'm just really motivated about health and wellness and feeling good for as long as I possibly can. But the fact that the great physique is coming along with it, I'm just in awe that I really I've told you before, and I'll say it again. I have a swimmer's body. When I was younger in school, I would always look at the swimmers, and the girl swimmers had the best physiques because they were lean, but they didn't have too much muscle. You know what I mean? And I'm 59 and I finally have a swimmer's body. And I'm like, great. Now, like, what am I going to do? Like, run around? And I'm not going to be on Instagram or anything, but you know what I mean? I feel like I
Yeah.
could be. So it's crazy.
Congratulations. Congratulations, Angie. That is absolutely awesome. And you know, these stories, I haven't got to meet Troy, but when I get to travel around and meet people who've transformed their life, and this, you know, for the new people on the call, this is easy. You don't have to travel. You don't have to check into a hospital. You just got to get the bands, follow along with us. We'll coach you and find 5 to 10 minutes a day of something fun. Take out some old exercise equipment, the bike, the vibration plate. Heck, you can even go out to the golf course and do this. You can take them to the gym, and we have hundreds of exercise videos. I want to see if we've got one more person that can share a story. Gaylord Rhodes. Gaylord, if you're there and listening, if you got the opportunity to hit the unmute button, I know we'd love to hear your story. Awesome,
Hey, Mike.
Gaylord. Let me see if we've got you on video, Gaylord. That's okay. We'll pull up your awesome picture there. And Gaylord, go ahead. I know your story is also an exciting story.
Yeah, I was 67. I'm a golf professional. I had a teaching center in Las Vegas, and we were trying to figure out a way to add some kind of physical activity to golf. But I was at that moment in my life, my knees were arthritic and my hands were so arthritic I could barely hold on to the golf club without rubbing pain cream all over my wrists and knees and then putting braces on. And it wasn't a very productive life for me. I couldn't work out. I really don't go to gyms. I stopped going to gyms when I was in high school. And so I would do some yoga, stretching, and I dealt with a lot of pain. And the bands were introduced to me. I was a little skeptical at first, but I didn't change anything. I just stood on my little stair stepper with some 5-pound weights, and within about 2 weeks, I started noticing changes. I was waking up in the morning and my knees weren't hurting. I started to grip the golf club in my lessons, and I suddenly realized I didn't have to put my copper fit fingerless gloves on anymore. I could literally hold on to the golf club. And it just went from there, Mike. You know my story. I've studied nutrition for a long time. I've always been looking for the best biohacks that you can find. And I will say this, I'm 70. I feel like I'm 40. I'm swinging a golf club like I did in my 30s. My club head speed is up into the same category it was 25 years ago. I think I can shoot my age now, and I had given up on that. That was the last thing on the bucket list. And it's hard not to just tell everybody about this. That the thing, it's just an amazing blessing. Everyone I've shared it with has had tremendous results. A couple ladies that are no longer on thyroid medication. I mean, people are they're walking again. And you know, it just, when you can reach out and just help people reverse the aging process, burn fat and build muscle at any age, this is from up above. And I'll just leave it at that.
Awesome. Thanks, Gaylord. Yeah, and I know I've watched your transformation, and you know, how are we helping so many people? It's people like everybody on the call. Just recently, I think of Janella May, right? She got the bands. She didn't run out and start telling everybody. She personally used them herself. And now she's just helping everybody. And the stories she's developing are amazing. So, you know, think about this. 5 years ago, when I launched this company, it was just me. And I went out and shared it with some friends. I was running another company. I went out and shared it with some friends. I just wanted to see if somebody was going to get the results I got. And I spent a year just sharing it with some friends. I had no interest in launching a company. And then when I saw the results, you know, I was moved. I'm a religious person. I'm not a big church goer, but I'm a strong believer. And I just felt like this was my calling, you know, in my best way to help people. And now I didn't have a network of 5 or 10,000 people. I just went out and started telling people, and here we are at over 50,000 people and celebrities and NFL teams. But more important than that is where we're positioned to help people that have conditions like Angie was dealing with, and Troy and Gaylord, people that are suffering. We can have dramatic impacts on these people in such a non-invasive and natural way. And that's what gets me excited every time I do one of these presentations. So what I want to encourage all of you is take this information you learned about pain and you learned about the B3 Start. If you haven't tried this, by the way, 30-day money-back guarantee. Order this product. I'm going to give you the email. Add it to the bands, right? Because look, you're going to elevate nitric oxide and growth hormone. I mean, you're halfway there, right, to creating this dramatic anti-aging effect. Now, if you don't add the product, you're going to get great results. But if you add those nutrients that support this collagen matrix in your skin and your eyes, and your tendons and your brain and your blood vessels, and you add that collagen and those essential fats and those fat-soluble vitamins and minerals, you're going to have a two-pronged approach to significant anti-aging. And if you don't love it, send it back. Try the whole bottle. If you don't see great results, it's a 30-day money-back guarantee. So with that said, before we end today's presentation, I'm going to get in the chat box here, and I'm going to give everybody an email, support@b3sciences.com. They will direct you wherever you need to go. Okay. And there's one more email. If you have any questions about workouts, or maybe you need different ways to use the bands, we have coaches at coach@b3sciences.com that I've trained that are going to help you. And we do live calls every week. So if you're new, you've got absolutely nothing to lose here and everything to gain, potentially dramatically improving pain, going back in time, feeling young again. And every purchase that you make as a new person comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee. I also want to recognize many of our awesome doctors like Dr. Greg Adams, Dr. Ken Otto, Dr. Carl Abramson, Dr. John Whiting in Pocatello, Idaho, who are also leading the way in bringing out this awesome BFR technology to their patients and clients. So I want to thank all of our doctors that are involved. With that said, we have recorded tonight's presentation. We're going to chop this up into some clips and make it easy for you to share with the people you care about. But let's all make one commitment with each other. We all know somebody who's in pain, maybe chronic pain, maybe somebody that's disabled. We have an opportunity here to make a dramatic improvement on their life and a dramatic impact. Reach out to them tomorrow. We'll get this video available to all of you. So if you'd like to have this video to reshare with people, it'll be on the mobile app, or just email us at support@b3sciences.com. I want to thank our special guests, Troy and Angie and Gaylord, for speaking tonight. And with that said, I'm going to say good night to everyone. You can welcome to hit the unmute button and say good night also. Thanks for attending tonight, everyone.
Good night, everybody. Good night.
Good night, Mike.
Thank
Good
you.
night, Dr.
Thank
Mike.
you.
Good night.
Thank you,
Good
sir.
night,
Good night.
everybody. Have a good night, everybody.
Good night. And thank you.
Beautiful presentation.
Thank you so much.
Good night.
Good night, everyone.
Thank you. Good night.